Good afternoon and welcome to the Queen Anne's County Board of Education work session for January 18th, 2023. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Okay, I'll call for a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Helen,
Okay.
would you like to?
Yep, pursuant to the General Provisions, Article 3-305 and 3-104, the Board of Education of Queen Anne's County will meet in a closed session to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation.
All right, and in case that wasn't clear, we did meet in closed session at 4 o'clock this afternoon prior to the open session. Do we need a motion on that, or was that the motion? Or just the, okay,
I think
right.
we just read it. It's right there.
Okay,
We just
all
read
right.
it.
Dr. Kibler, first information item is survey results. It looks like you're with us for a couple.
Yeah, I'm going to
Different
run here
items.
for a half hour if that's all right, or so,
Okay,
whatever,
yeah,
whatever you
makes
guys need.
Is, but I do want to jump in just a little bit.
Sure.
So the climate survey that under the direction and leadership of Dr. Kibler that we did with our staff was something that's not a requirement. This is something that we did intentionally to be able to get some real-time data information from our staff on what we're doing well and what things that we need to grow and move on. The state does do a climate survey. Unfortunately, their results don't come to us in as timely a manner as we would want in order to do some action about what we see and hear from our staff. And so I do want to give a shout out to thank everyone who did participate. It is anonymous. Dr. Kibler, under his direction, goes through and really looks at the data at a very summary type level so that we don't see individual comments and such. But I really do appreciate all the effort. This is something that really does expose us as a leadership team. So it's kind of hard to do that, but it's the right thing to do because we get some real good information and we can get a good pulse on where we are to help us move forward and be even better than we already are. So thank you, and I'll turn it right over to Dr. Kibler.
Sure, well, thanks. Good evening. So the presentation I'm going to sort of walk us through tonight is basically a survey, or excuse me, a summary of the surveys. On board docs for you all and the public that would like to see, I did attach the full survey results as well, but just with the sheer number of questions, we didn't think it was prudent to sort of take us through each individual one. So this is just a summary, but all the results are there. So not trying to sort of hide from any of that. So really, as Dr. Salen said, the purpose of this survey was to try to get a pulse on the culture and climate throughout the district. We kind of have three buckets here, asking about employees, their own individual work and perception of their work, and leadership within their buildings, the district, and executive leadership as well. And then we also ask about communication throughout the district as well. Sort of the methodology, when did we do this, how did we do it? So this was done the first 2 weeks of November. In my experience with these kind of surveys in a school system or a college setting, sort of the best time to do this sort of thing is get everybody in for the school year, kind of settled. In this case, a little bit around or just after the first marking period, and try to hit before the holiday season. So getting this done before Thanksgiving and people are really thinking about it, about that is important. So we, for this first one we're talking about, we actually did two separate surveys, a school-based and central office-based. I wanted to pull off the central office-based folks just because the wording of the questions, we did have some things that said in your school, and just I didn't feel it fair to ask the employees in this building to answer in the same way. The summary up here does focus on the school-based folks. The results of the district or the central office survey is there as well, and very similar to what we saw in the schools. All the responses were completely anonymous. You'll see we did ask employees to respond by bargaining unit, level in which they work, and length of service. Even with the way I did it to ensure anonymity, we still got over a 55% response rate, which is great. I didn't put folks' individual email addresses into the survey to sort of follow up with those that hadn't responded and things like that. So didn't ask folks to identify themselves by school, just to really try to make sure that everybody could feel confident that they were going to stay anonymous. So this is a great response rate, really. Professional surveys, the way we sort of did it, for them to get like a 10 or 15% response rate, a 20% response rate is kind of a success. So this really speaks to our folks wanting to step up and let their voices be heard as well. So this is a really good response rate for the way we did it. All the questions after they identified sort of where they worked, how long they worked here, we used a 5-point Likert scale from strongly disagree up to strongly agree. And then what you'll see as we go through here, we categorize the questions then by climate and culture, the feelings and perception of employees' own work, leadership, and communication. This is just a little bit of a profile of the respondents. So when we talk about those roughly 600 folks, you can see that 400 of them are that certificated Unit 1. So those are your teachers. Unit 2 are the A&S members, the administrators and supervisors, excuse me. And then support 1, 2, or 3, we had 120 responses. And I'm not in a category listed above. So we did send this blast to all district employee email addresses. So that not category, that would be your substitutes. If a contractor got an email, they could be in that category as well. Kind of, you see the breakdown, elementary, middle, high employees, or working at multiple levels, and then the length of time here. We chose that 1 to 3 years to pair that up with teachers. So you're roughly looking at non-tenured versus then getting into the tenured years. So first, this is just a list of the climate and culture questions, and I won't, just to summarize, I'm not going to read them all to you and get the feel of what they are, and then we'll go to the next page and understand what the summary we see here is. So what you're looking at here is, if you look at like all responses in a 4.16, that means of everybody that answered this question, so roughly close to 600 folks, they averaged a 4.16, so that's an agree. So they're basically agreeing that they have a positive climate and culture. So you can see then as you go the breakdown of the different groups that we roughly have everybody around that feeling positive about the climate and culture in their school and within the district based on those results.